For 5 years, the envelope slid through the slot at the in-laws' door without thought, $200 every month, like clockwork. I counted it, tucked it neatly, and dropped it in the mailbox with hands that never trembled but felt perpetually empty. The money was supposed to be for a debt my husband had promised to cover. It had been his idea, his way of keeping peace. After his death, it became my ritual. I told myself it was honor. Sometimes it felt more like obligation. I had never asked for a receipt. My in-laws never offered one. Their smiles were polite, practiced, a little too sharp around the corners. I brushed it aside. What could be wrong with helping them, after all? Then one morning, Mrs. Callahan leaned over our fence. Her hair smelled faintly of rosemary soap, her voice low and hesitant. "You know, maybe you should stop sending that money. Just check the camera." I froze. My mind flinched. Check the camera? What camera? She didn't elaborate. She simply looked at me with that quiet insistence that only a neighbor who sees everything could have. I nodded, the words catching in my throat, and went back inside. For hours, the envelope waited, unopened, as I sat with my tea cooling and my fingers tight around a note from 5 years ago. I tried to dismiss it. Perhaps the neighbor was mistaken. Perhaps it was nothing. But when I passed the house that afternoon, I noticed their car in the driveway, always in the same place when I mailed the envelope, and the curtains twitching in a way that felt like they were waiting for me. The next day, I asked Mrs. Callahan to show me the camera. Her old laptop hummed and flickered as the footage loaded. I watched, silent, unmoving. Month after month, my envelope slid through the slot. My in-laws received it, yes, but not to pay a debt. They stacked it neatly on the dining table, counting the bills together, whispering, laughing. Each month a small ceremony. Not once did they use it for what they claimed. I turned away from the screen, nausea curling in my stomach. I wanted to shout, to demand an explanation, to break the calm and quiet of their kitchen with my own voice, but I couldn't. I sat there, breathing slowly, letting the evidence sink into me. There was no ambiguity, no possibility of mistake. And yet, it wasn't the money itself. It was the betrayal, the casual ease with which they had accepted it, the small but deliberate lies, the way they had continued the charade for years. My grief had already left me hollow. This hollow had been filled with illusions of duty and respect. I didn't confront them, not immediately. I couldn't. The power of that camera, the authority of undeniable proof, gave me something quiet and heavy. It wasn't loud, but it was mine. I didn't need to raise my voice for them to know they had crossed a line. Over the next few weeks, I adjusted. The envelopes stopped appearing. I set up my own accounts, redirected the funds. I didn't gloat. I didn't gash my resentment into declarations. I simply withdrew my contribution, and for the first time in years, my routine changed. My life shifted in small, measured increments. Sometimes I thought about my husband, wondering if he had ever suspected their dishonesty. Maybe he had, but chose to smooth things over for appearances. I wanted to mourn that too, the loss of trust layered on top of the loss of him. The in-laws noticed the pause in payments. They asked once in passing, and I smiled, polite and reserved. No explanations. Silence carried the weight. I didn't need to argue. The camera had already spoken, and in the quiet of my home, I carried the memory of their deception like a small, undeniable truth. It was not a victory marked with celebration. It was not revenge, and there was no rush of satisfaction. It was calm, quiet, a slow reclamation of control over my own life and resources. And sometimes, at night, when the house is still and the envelopes are gone, I allow myself to feel the sharp, clean edge of dignity returning. Not loud, not triumphant, just there, quietly undeniable. I do not trust easily anymore, but I have learned that some power can only be claimed with evidence, and sometimes the simplest authority, the fact of seeing, is enough. The in-laws never knew I had watched. They never saw the shift, but it existed, silently. I still send money now, but only to causes that align with what I believe. The ritual remains, but the emptiness has gone. And in that, there is something that resembles peace.